Let me tell you something about suburban PC. It's fake. It's all sunshine, lawn flamingos, and neighborly waves until the HOA shows up like a bad plot twist. One morning, I woke up to the sound of engines and gravel cracking. My driveway, the custom-laid stone one my dad and I built with our own hands, was getting bulldozed. No warning. No notice. Just crushed, gone. I ran outside in socks and a hoodie, thinking it was a mistake. Spoiler, it wasn't. It was intentional. The HOA had decided behind closed doors, and without my input, that my driveway violated uniform aesthetic standards. Yeah, never mind the fact that it was grandfathered in and I had written approvals from years back. That didn't stop them. They brought a crew, a rental dozer, and a whole lot of smug. Let me back up. I bought this place 4 years ago after my dad passed. It was his dream home, 3 acres on the edge of a little wooded suburb, the kind where deer actually eat your tulips and you learn which neighbor has chickens by the smell. The stone driveway was our last father-son project. Took us 3 weekends, 8 pallets of Appalachian slate, and a whole lot of YouTube tutorials. That driveway was a symbol, man. Not just a place to park. Every neighbor loved it. Hell, folks would stop and ask who did the work. Then came the new HOA board, led by, you guessed it, Karen. Karen had recently retired from a mid-tier HR job and decided she had a calling in suburban law enforcement. She rolled into every community meeting with a binder, a Bluetooth headset, and the dead stare of someone who drinks room-temp white wine at 2 p.m. The war started small. First, it was a letter about my mailbox being visually inconsistent. Then she flagged my porch light. Then the flower bed. And finally the driveway. Apparently, the stones were not conforming with community surfacing guidelines, a clause nobody had enforced in decades. I responded with the paperwork. Approvals from the old board. Photos. Emails. Crickets. The next week, while I was out of town for work, they bulldozed it. I wish I were joking. The crew even dumped the broken stone in a rented dumpster on my lawn. When I got home, my tires were covered in mud, and I nearly twisted my ankle stepping out of the car. My whole entryway looked like a construction zone. They didn't just rip up my driveway, they left it in ruins. I called Karen. Her response? We're protecting property values. Ma'am, this is a private lot, not a Beverly Hills HOA. So, I got a lawyer. But here's the thing. Most HOA stories go like this. You fight, they drain your wallet in legal fees. And if you're lucky, you get to keep your gnome statue. Not me. I went deep. Like 5 late nights into the county zoning archives deep. I found something wild. An obscure property law code 47.112b of the state property statute. Buried under nuisance ordinances and right-of-way easements. It clearly stated that any alteration of a property feature with documented historic installation without the owner's consent triggers a mandatory restoration clause at the violator's full cost. Translation? If something on your land is officially recorded and someone destroys it without permission, they're legally bound to restore it to original or better condition. And guess what? My driveway. It was on record, not only in my deed transfer, but also in the original municipal zoning approval. Because my dad had filed for drainage clearance when we laid it. They messed with a protected feature. You should have seen Karen's face when I rolled up to the next HOA meeting with a printed copy of the statute and a polite little folder labeled Notice of Intent to File Civil Claim for Damages. She tried to bluster through it. We had board consensus. Consensus doesn't override property law, I said, calm as a monk. You damaged a protected improvement. You'll be rebuilding it. Or we'll go to court. The room went quiet. Then Bob, the usually quiet old guy who runs the local hardware store, stood up and said, he's right. That's state code. Karen tried to save face by offering a modest gravel fill-in. I rejected it. Nope. Full rebuild. Slate. Edge to edge. You broke it. You fix it. A month later, the same crew came back, but this time, they were under my instruction. New pallets of stone. Professional installation. Drainage upgrade. And while they were at it, I had them lay a stone path to the backyard. All at the HOA's expense. Cost them $18,000. To be fair, I offered to settle if Karen issued a written apology and covered the dump fees. She refused, so I hit her where it hurt the minutes. I submitted a formal motion to censure her as board president for exceeding her authority. And here's the twist. Turns out Karen had been pushing through a lot of improvements without quorum. Tree removals, fence citations, even a canceled community Easter event that pissed off half the moms on the block. Suddenly, people started showing up to meetings, voting, asking questions. Within 2 months, she was out, replaced by a retired city planner named Rosa, who actually reads the bylaws. And here's where it gets juicy. At Karen's last meeting, she tried to pass one final motion, a rule banning non-standard driveways permanently. But Rosa had done her homework. We'd need 75% of homeowner signatures to amend the covenant, Rosa said coolly, flipping through her binder. And right now, you've got 9. Karen left red-faced and muttering something about moving to a community with real standards. I sent her a farewell gift, a framed photo of the new driveway, taken at golden hour. Look, I'm not the vengeful type, but if you're going to play HOA dictator, you better know the law better than the guy who grew up reading his dad's contractor magazines for fun. And maybe just maybe didn't bulldoze a memorial driveway. So what do you think? Was I in the right, or should I have let it slide? Thanks for sticking around, and hey, if you like this story, share your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more real-life HOA drama. Got a wild story or revenge plot of your own? I'd love to hear it.